She was desperate to talk to someone who would understand her terror, and that was her best friend and next-door neighbour, Kate Fox. Kate was in the year above Venus. She was an ideal best mate. They shared lots of interests, particularly music and sport, and she was an excellent listener who knew almost every secret Venus had ever had. Venus found Kate in the ground floor gym. Kate was doing a warm-up with some other people. They were about to go on a run for their afternoon's PE lesson. As Venus strode across the polished wood floor, Kate looked up and spotted her. She immediately hurried over to Venus.
"Hey, Venus,"
Kate said, smiling.
"You look as if the world's about to end. What's up?"
"I just found this in my locker," replied Venus, trying to sound casual. She held out the piece of lined paper for Kate to see. Kate's smile was immediately wiped off her face.
"Oh my God, that's horrible."
"I think it's from Franco." Kate took the piece of paper in her hands.
"Seriously?"
"Remember that postcard I got from him just before we went to France?"
"Of course. This handwriting is similar."
"It's too similar to be a coincidence, don't you think? The guy's stalking me." Kate took a deep breath and sat down on a low wooden bench, patting the space beside her for her friend to sit. Venus was almost in tears as she described finding the note, but just talking to Kate made her feel a bit better.
"Look, Venus,"
Kate said, handing the note back.
"I know you had a terrible experience with him in the summer, but this note might be completely unconnected. You know there are quite a few freaks in this place. It could be from someone who fancies you, or it could be a joke."
Venus shook her head. "If you fancy someone, you don't go scaring the life out of them. And if it is a joke, it's a pretty bad one." Kate had listened intently to Venus, and she thought for a few moments before speaking again.
"Don't bite my head off," she said slowly. "But remember that you have imagined seeing Franco a few times recently."
Venus felt herself shaking. "Exactly! Maybe he has been following me. And look at the writing! It's got to be him!"
"Hey,"
said Kate, putting her arm round her friend's shoulder.
"All I'm saying is, don't jump to conclusions and switch to emergency mode instantly. It could be from him, but it's more likely not to be. You are very, very sensitive to any Franco news."
Venus scratched her forehead. "Kate's right. I am extra sensitive to any hint of Franco, and maybe I'm being paranoid. But if it isn't from him, then who wrote it?"
"Hey, Venus,"
Kate said as the bell for afternoon lessons went.
"Let's talk after school, yeah?"
"Hi, Venus. I'm home." Venus was up in her bedroom listening to music when she heard the front door opening. She'd spent the whole of the afternoon trying to focus on her lessons and not think about the note, with limited success. Straight after school, she'd gone round to Kate's, and they'd talked more about the note and the chances of it being from someone else other than Franco. After a while, they'd started going round and round in circles. So they'd dropped the subject and discussed the next gig they wanted to go to. Venus had then come back home and spent an hour chilling out, listening to music, desperately trying to put all thoughts of Franco out of her mind. Venus sighed deeply. Things between her and her mum, Gail, had been seriously strained over the last few weeks. And all of this tension centred on Venus's American father, Elliot Nevis. Elliot had walked out on Venus and Gail when Venus was 3 months old. Venus knew this because her mum had told her. She'd also told Venus that Elliot had gone back to America and never contacted her again. But Venus had recently found out that this wasn't totally true.